everyone, Sheree here. Today I'm going to be creating a layout for Felicity Jane using the new metal dies that coordinate with the Lindsey stamp set. So the Lindsey kit is the February Felicity Jane kit. And I've also got some elements printed out from the digital Lindsey kit. So I've got one of the journaling cards here, which is super cute. A strip of one of the pattern papers, and I've also got a few of the embellishments that I've printed out as well. So when I print out the embellishments, I open them up into Photoshop and arrange them just on an A4 size page. Then I just print them out and cut them out by hand to use. So I've got the always word there, the I Love Us tab, the Together tab, which when I printed it out it was all plain white, and I've just used a tab punch to punch that one out. I've got the florals there, a little circle that says the good stuff, another little yellow flower as well, and I've got the dies here. So the dies have two larger love scripty words, one in a thicker font, one in a thinner font. There's also a little heart that coordinates with a heart stamp there. The floral coordinates with the floral stamp, but today I'm going to be using this little row of hearts which coordinates with the row of hearts at the bottom of the stamp set, and I'm going to use the letters LOVE as well. So what I want to do with the letters is to create a little tag. So I want to arrange the letters on my piece of cardstock, and this is just cut to approximately 3 by 4 inches. So I'm just going to arrange them how I think will look okay. Now to hold these in place, I'm just going to get some washi. So I've just got some thin washi just from the Christmas kit, and I'm just going to stick them down, just make sure I'm happy with that placement. So I'm just going to stick them down into place there so that they don't move as I go through my big shot, and I've just accidentally moved those two, so I'm just going to fix that up. Alright, so I'll stick those ones down as well. Okay, so now that those pieces are stuck down into place, I know that they're not going to move as I run them through my big shot. I'm just going to place them on there and run them through like so. Okay. So when I peel that washi off, I'm then left with the letters that have been cut out of my cardstock, and I can just punch out the middle of the O there that I can also just put back into place when I go to use it on my page. And the beauty is I now have the letters that I can use on another project as well. So they're all there. Push that out there. Oop. And for the O, where are we? I'll just grab my, get that out of the way. Got my paper piercer. On the back of the dies there's the little tiny holes. I'm not sure if you can see that. I'll see if I can get it up close. Try and get this to focus. There we go. There's, oh, it's a bit hard to see, but there's little tiny holes in the back of the die. Doesn't want to focus there. But all you do is just poke the paper piercer through, and the piece of paper easily pops out of the die. Alright, so I can put those letters aside. I won't be using them on this project. But while I've got my die cutting machine out, I do also want to cut out a strip of those hearts that I can then stamp on. Now you can do it one of two ways. You can stamp and then position this over the hearts and cut them out, or you can cut them out and then stamp. So I think what I might try this time is to cut them out and then I'll stamp onto the top of it. Alright, so I'm going to run that through. Okay, so there we go. I've got my little row of hearts there. So then I'm going to grab the stamp. Should be able to fit onto this block, I think. Yep. Alright, let's grab a scrap of paper as well. I'm just going to use Stays On ink since that's what I have already here on my desk. Do a little test stamp first, make sure I've got some really good ink coverage, and I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, and now I'm going to try just going directly onto that die cut. Okay, so I've just peeled that off the stamp and that's pretty good. Probably next time I would try stamping, then positioning the die over the top and then running it through, so you probably get a better idea. So you can see that you can position that directly. Just get it to focus, sorry. You can position that directly over where you've stamped and then run it through. So you could do it either way, but I'm quite happy with how that's turned out. So I've got that piece to use now. I could actually try doing it with let's do that. Since I do have this piece here, I'm going to, sorry if you can hear chairs scraping in the background, my kids are home at the moment. I do have the door shut, but you can still hear them in the background. Alright, so let's stick that on there and I'll run that through to see how that turns out. Okay. There. Okay, let's peel that off and have a look. So far so good. Okay, and that's turned out pretty well. So either way, it turns out okay. So you can either stamp first, then cut it out, or cut it out, then stamp. Either way works pretty well. Alright, so now that I have all my pieces ready to go, what I'm going to do is do some hand stitching on this tag piece. I haven't actually cut the tag shape yet because what I want to do first is actually hand stitch around each letter. So for that I've just got my little piercing pad underneath and my paper piercer, and I'm just going to pierce some holes all the way around each of these letters, just like that. Not sure if you can see that. So you can just see the holes I've pierced there. So I'm going to go all the way around each of those letters, and then I will use my embroidery thread. I have all my threads on a ring, which makes them nice and neat and everything's together. I'm just using one strand doubled over, and I'll hand stitch all the way around those letters. So I'll go and do that because that'll be a little bit time consuming, very boring for you to watch on video, and I'll be back very shortly. Okay, so the stitching is now done, and I love the texture that this adds to the tag. So to make it look more like a tag, I'm going to just cut these top corners using this punch, and then I'll just punch a hole at the very top to make it look more like a tag, and then I'll be able to add some twine to that hole. First of all though, I'm going to add some machine stitching around the outside edge. So that is now done, you can see that there. So I can add that twine to the top of the tag, so just tying that on. And then I'm going to add these squares of paper in behind, so that's adding some fun colour. So I've got 4 pieces of pattern paper from the kit, which I just printed out using the digital kit, and I'm using some washi to stick that in behind. So just making sure I've got them placed nicely, especially that striped piece. I had a little bit of trouble lining it up, but a little adjustment and it was all good. As you can see there, I'm just going to adjust that slightly. Alright, so that's added some nice colour to the tag now, so I can go ahead and start putting this layout together. Now, I have sort of used this design across the page a few times. It's one of my favourite go-tos, but I'm going to do a little bit differently with some stamping as well, which you'll see very soon. Alright, so I've got my photo going in the middle of the page there. So I've got the heart journaling card going to the right of that. Stick that one down, and the tag is going to the left, and I'm using a little bit more double-sided tape on the back of this one just to make sure those pieces of pattern paper are nicely secured. Alright, so that can go on there now as well, and then I can go ahead and start playing with these other little bits and pieces. So I've got the always word there, which is part of the title. I've got the together tab, that striped piece of pattern paper, which I'm going to tuck in on the right hand side of that journaling card. That's just adding a little bit more colour to that side of the page, just helping to balance out the colour that's on that tag that I just made. I've got the floral piece that's going on the bottom left of that tag. I'm using some foam dots just to add a little bit of dimension there. Just add another little one under that red flower. Okay, so these two tabs, I've decided to put the I Love Us one to the left of the tag, and I'm going to staple that one into place. And the together tag is going at the top of the photo, and I will add some stitching to that, but for now I'm just securing it with a little strip of double-sided tape there. Okay, so that always word I'm going to put down the right hand side of the photo, and I've got some small foam dots behind that word just to add a little bit more dimension. That twine I'm just going to tuck in behind the tab and those flowers. So I've got a few more pieces now to go on here. I'm putting those hearts down under the photo, but I will be doing some stamping shortly. But for now I'm just going to finish off that journaling tag. So I've got some messy thread, the piece that says the good stuff, and I've also got a little flower as well. So I've got all foam dots behind those two pieces. Just adding that little flower on there now. A little adjustment, just moving it to the right just a little bit. Okay, so I've also got the middle of that O to put onto the tag, which I almost forgot about. But because it is fiddly, I'm using tweezers to put that one into place. So just a little bit of liquid glue on the back of that, and the tweezers really help to get that into the right position. Okay, so next I'm moving on to this little bit of stamping. So this is using the Lindsey stamp set, and the first phrase here says "with all my heart," so I'm just putting that straight under the photo there. The next one I've got says "ours is my favourite love story," so just do a little test stamp on this one to make sure I've got some good ink coverage. And now that can go straight under that other phrase. I'm going to put that row of hearts underneath that, and I will add stitching to this, but I'm just securing it with a strip of double-sided tape for now until I get my machine out. I've got another stamp going under that, which is the little row of XOs, and I do love the pretty font that this stamp is in as well. And to finish that section off, I'm just going to add the date at the very bottom. So I'm using the Felicity Jane roller date stamp, and I'm using the month and the two little hearts in the center, and then the year. I really do love that date stamp. Okay, one more stamp is going on, and it's this You and Me stamp, and I wanted to put this at the bottom of the love tag. It'll just add a little bit more texture and another layer to the tag. So I'm stamping it a few times on this scrap piece of cardstock. It's just plain white cardstock, and now I'm going to cut out the best one trim it down with my scissors, and I'll just adhere it on the bottom of the tag using double-sided tape, and then I will add some stitching around this page. So a little mini wide paper clip at the top right hand corner of that journaling tag, and I've got stitching across the hearts, across the together tab, and across that you and me stamped piece as well. And now I just want to add a bit of colour at the top and bottom of this page to finish it off. So I'm just torn away some of that white cardstock at the top there, and I'm adhering this piece of red pattern paper from the digital kit in behind there, and I'm using washi tape and double-sided tape to secure it into place. So just making sure it's nicely lined up with the top edge of the page. And then I'm going to do something similar down the bottom, just to add a little bit of red down there too, and I'm adding a few staples and just roughing up the edges of that torn edge as well to finish it off. So I hope you've enjoyed seeing how this one's come together today. Let me know if you've got any questions. I hope you get to play with these fun new dies. I really love these and hope we get some more at Felicity Jane very soon. I'll leave you with some close-up photos at the end, and I'll see you again soon. Thank you so much for joining me. Bye for now.